Are you someone that's been sidelined the last few years because of this crazy housing market? Or maybe you finally saved up enough money where you do feel comfortable purchasing a home, but you're unsure of what 2023 holds for the housing market. Well, unfortunately, I can't tell the future, but I am going to go over what the experts are predicting for the 2023 housing market, and then I'll dive into my personal thoughts on New Hampshire specifically and what 2023 has to hold. Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Moynihan. I'm a real estate agent and investor based out of Keene, New Hampshire. So if you're someone that's looking to buy, sell, invest, or maybe you even just have questions about real estate, feel free to connect. I would love to help you out. My contact info is here and of course down below. And then if any point in this video you get some value provided to you or learn something new, I would greatly appreciate a like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But that's enough about me, so let's dive right into what 2023 market predictions look like. So if you're completely unaware, the last few months of 2022, interest rates took quite the spike. This in turn slowed down the booming market and kind of brought it back a little bit where buyers actually had some leverage here. But it also kind of deterred some sellers who were on the verge of selling, but then they realized, well, if I do sell, I have to go buy a new house, and now I have to be the one eating the high interest rates. So it also kind of slowed down inventory because people were deterred from selling due to those high interest rates. And now with mortgage rates still at about double of what they were last year, in most markets, homes are still going up in price, surprisingly. Yes, it's slowed down, but the sales price is still going up from year after year. And this is making housing affordability very difficult. According to Mortgage Bankers Association, mortgage applications are at the lowest level they have been in 25 years. And according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, there's a housing inventory supply of 3.3 months, which basically means if no new houses were to come on the market from now till whenever, you would have 3.3 months until the market's fully sold out. And 3.3 months is about half of what a normal market should be, where it's not technically a seller's market. It kind of leans a little bit more towards buying, but it's where there's actually more options and you're not getting multiple bids on everything. And new construction is still pretty slow, with new building permits actually down 7.1% in November compared to the previous month. Now, with all that being said, yes, it looks like the market's slowing down and it's looking like it's going to be a little bit more difficult for sellers to kind of just sell their house as quickly as they were the last year or two. But it doesn't look like it's going to be anything like a 2008 crash. And that is mainly because there's just more restrictions, rules, and regulations on the mortgage market. This means it's way less volatile and way less risky, because back around 2005, before the whole 2008 crash, that is when mortgage was very, very lenient, and they didn't really care what people were providing for financial statements, or even if they made money. They were just simply lending because they wanted to lend as much as they could. They were even saying, hey, if you can't afford the mortgage, we'll just add that on to the full total that you do owe us. It just didn't even make sense. There was no equity in the house, and then they were adding more debt on top of that. So you're not seeing as much of that, and especially with the big rise in housing over the last couple of years, most Americans have a lot of equity in their house that they can work with before going under and going into foreclosure. Home equity is actually at one of the highest levels it's been in the past few decades. Now, foreclosures are looking like they're going to be starting up again, with foreclosure starts up 57% of where they were last year. But they're only at 80% of what they were pre-pandemic level. So you have to remember, during the pandemic, that people were allowed to not pay their mortgage and it would just get tacked on to the end of their loan, because that's just what was happening with so many people out of work, not on their own account. And yes, it looks like some Americans are starting to have some issues paying their mortgage because of the job market now going down a little bit. But with all the equity they have in their house, they should be able to stay afloat. So now the question is, should you be looking to purchase a house in 2023? Of course, this is always a highly personal decision. If you are making enough money and you can afford a mortgage indefinitely, and you have the money to put down for a down payment, feel comfortable with all that, then by all means, go ahead and do it. Because over the course of history, real estate always appreciates. So even if you were to buy right now and say the market did take a little bit of a hit, you're still, if you're able to pay your mortgage, you're probably going to make it out on top in the long run. In the next 5, 10 years, you're going to be up because that's just what history shows. So now I do think the housing market will overall drop in 2023. I don't think it'll be by as much as a lot of people are saying, but it's more of almost a softening of the market because of how much it boomed in the last 2 years with the whole pandemic. And now for my thoughts on New Hampshire specifically and what I think 2023 will bring to the New Hampshire housing market. So it's pretty simple because I'm in this market all the time, working it every day as a full-time real estate agent. And I see that right now, if houses are getting listed and listing at market price, they're selling very fast. If you actually list it and market it well, you're going to sell the house. And if it's priced in that first time home buyer's price around the 250 to 350 area and it's priced properly, I'm still seeing these go pretty fast if they're in good condition and have good photos. A lot of them are having multiple offers. Now, I don't think it's anything like 15, 20,000 plus above what list price is, but you are having multiple offers where the sellers are still having a few different decisions that they can make on which one works best for them. And now the buyers are actually having a little bit of leverage where they can ask for a home inspection without just completely getting out of the race if they were to ask for that 2 years ago. But we're definitely in a little bit of a weird state because there's a lot of sellers that are looking for the last year or two's price, while now there's a lot of buyers who are looking to lowball every situation because of what they're hearing about the upcoming real estate crash. Again, I don't think there's going to be a complete plummet. I do think it's going to come down a little bit, soften the market, and actually make things even out a little bit because of how crazy of a seller's market it was the last 2 years. It just almost didn't even make sense. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, with the interest rates going up so much, it's just becoming hard to afford what prices were last couple years when the interest rates were at mid twos to low threes. And now that they're at mid sixes, it just doesn't work out the same because your purchasing power went down so much because interest rates have went up 3%. So as far as I can tell, it's looking like New Hampshire's returning to a more normal-ish market where sellers are actually having to do a little bit of prep work and do more than just have their agent put a sign in the yard and boom, it's sold over the weekend. They are actually having to prep, keep the house clean, actually list it for fair market value, not just some crazy number that they really can pull out of nowhere because people were paying it. And now buyers are actually getting a little bit of a leeway here in asking for home inspections, and they get to actually have financing contingencies where first time home buyers are actually in the race for some of these, where if it wasn't the last couple of years, so many were just getting outbid by cash buyers left and right. But overall, in 2023, I do think the market's going to come down unless magically these interest rates completely go back to 2 years ago, which I don't really see happening. And that will lead to, I'm hoping, months of inventory keep going up. Hopefully we get more around the 4 to 5 or 6 months of inventory where buyers can actually have some leverage in buying a house and not be completely subdued to whatever the market asks. And of course, depending on your situation, I do think 2023 there will be some great deals to be found. You have to, of course, see what you're looking for and be pretty specific in what you want. But I do think there are great opportunities. And if you're a seller, you're still being able to get more than you would a few years before the pandemic, and prices have still went up compared to then. So yes, you might not be getting as much as you would have a year ago because of how crazy these offers were. You're still going to be getting a great price, and then you have the opportunity to purchase in kind of a slowing down market. I hope this video provided you with some value and kind of gave you an idea of what to expect and what the experts are saying 2023 real estate is looking like. And again, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or you just have questions about real estate, please feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to help. Again, contact info here down below, of course. But before you go, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps a lot. And the subscribe button because I release weekly real estate related content. And until next time.